Hello, everyone. This is Vivian with My Spiritual GPS. And welcome to a bonus show on Discover Your Hidden Money Stories. So, I do see a lot of clients in and out of my practice and in my online group clearing and coaching. And there are a few phrases and a few sentences and words that they mentioned to me. And I wanted to share that with you so that you can start looking at your own money stories and some of the things that you heard, perhaps from your parents, from your ancestors, from your educators, church people, and the community where you grew up in, right? So, the number one thing that I hear people say is you have to work hard for the money. So, think about that thought that comes with working hard to make money. So, I am Filipino. So, I grew up wherein that's a third world country, and our parents really wanted us to get an education. So I started as a physical therapist because I wanted to go to America. And at that time, my mom said, if you want to go to America, you need to have a degree that can get you there. So I switched my major from medical technology, and that I believe that is phlebotomy here in America. So then I thought to myself, I really don't want to be taking blood all the time. So last minute, I actually switched my major to physical therapy because at that time, people are flying certain graduates from the Philippines if you have a physical therapy degree because they have a need for it. So notice that there was a need for physical therapists in America, therefore, that equals more money. If you look at that, that is exactly the basic equation of money. If you find a need, like people want to solve their problem because for them it's a problem. If they have that need and you have the solution for it, then you can actually ask for money. It's very, very simple, right? But we make it complicated because we equate so many emotions with money, and that's the thought that money, it could be that we have to work hard for the money. So we think about that thought, but then sometimes we string along other stories or other thoughts with it. So if you add several thoughts or several sentences along with it, that becomes a story. So you can start with we have to work hard, or I have to work hard for the money. That means when you want to make more money, you have to work harder because that's your basic belief that you have to work hard for the money. And then you go, well, I wanted to be promoted to supervisory position, but then that means I have more responsibilities, right? And then when you get to the supervisory role and you have more responsibilities, you've basically proven yourself right because your basic tenet is making money, or it's hard, or working hard for the money. That was your first thought that you started, right? So how can you see if you are running a thought loop? Because it's a loop. It's a thought that keeps on going over your head, just like a broken tape recorder. So if that is the original thought, which is I have to work hard for the money, and what is the feeling that comes with that? So for me, it's more when I hear that, I already feel defeated. Like, what? Like, I'm tired. I'm tired just thinking about that thought. So then, when I'm tired, what do I do? The behavior could be an action, like you take action, like you work harder. An inaction, it's like I'm just gonna stop because I don't want to work harder. Or a reaction. It's like if that's the case, your reaction could be some violent reaction, right? Like I'm not gonna do it. Like I wouldn't even go that way, right? So that's a reaction. Like if that's what it involves, then I'm really just not gonna do it. right? That's a reaction. You almost got mad because of the thought and the emotion it produced. So the best thing is to actually change the thought, right? So is it really hard to make money, right? Or do you have to work hard to make money? If you look at it, there are different ways of making money. Long time ago, if you're a farmer, you have to till the soil. So you have to use your hands. Massage therapists, you have to use your hands, right? Um, Therapists, let's say psychotherapists or counselors, coaches, you have to use your voice. You have to either listen and then deliver the message or the advice for your clients. That's still a way to make money. Now, the question is, do you trade your hours for dollars? Okay. So, in other words, you charge per hour. So, even if you have a dream, let's say you want to be a millionaire, but then you charge per hour, take a look and calculate whatever you're charging. It could be $100, $200, 300, 500, 1,000. It doesn't matter what you charge. But if it's per hour, I want you to calculate the number of hours you truly work per week. So let's say $100. Let's make it simple. Let's make the math simple. Times, let's say you see 4 clients a day, right? 400 a day. And do you really work 5 days a week? Or do you just fill up your schedule maybe 3 days a week? So let's say you fill up your schedule 3 days a week. 400 times 3 is 1,200 a week. And then you multiply that by the number of weeks that you work per month times 4, right? So that's 4,800 a month. So that would be your monthly income. The question is, if you're running a business, you're not that's not pocketed by you completely, because you still need to pay rent, you still need to pay staff or any kind of support system, marketing, tech support, if you have any coaches, right? So remember this: when you own a business, you are not your business. And a lot of the small business owners, I think this is where they stumble, is they get into the mode that they just basically invented work for themselves. And they create work for themselves and they become the employee, but then the employee is not paid. So if you think about that, so making money, the hidden story there is perhaps there there needs to be more learning as far as how to really build a business. And I always look at the intention, because the beginning part of when you set out to create a business or help someone, and I'm speaking from experience, in the beginning, I just wanted to help people. And finances was not even in the picture because I had my money blocks back then, right? So I didn't know how to set it up properly. And my husband has his own way of setting it up, but then I was rebellious. So I was reacting to his thoughts. So there was the emotional and the mental trigger there. So then it becomes like a psychological trigger. Every time he mentioned something about money or business, then I would react. So that did not really help me with with how to run a business properly at that time, right? So the money story there was because I was equating like money versus love. That was the hidden thing, because my mom had her own story about money and my dad had his own story about, how to spend money, how to make money. So I was just going by whatever I learned from my parents and my ancestors, from religion, from culture and tradition, how we would handle that. So the most common thing I hear is, the other thing from the religious authorities is, money is the root of all evil. So if you think about that, and if you dig deeper into that story, that statement, the question is, if you really think that money is evil, everything in your cell and DNA would not make you wealthy and would not make you rich and prosperous. Because who wants to be labeled evil? Just think about that, right? Who doesn't want to go to heaven? If that's been ingrained in your brain, in your mind, you are not, even if you work so hard, you're just going to get frustrated because there's an operating thought in your head that keeps on looping around like a tape recorder that's broken, that money is the root of all evil. So I scratched that out. You can actually cross it off. You can write it down with your handwriting and cross it off. Draw a line across it. And then put down money is the root of all miracles. So you could definitely change the thought, that sentence that's really operating deep within your system, that's making you not effective with your effort. So money is energy, right? You've heard that a lot from a lot of the new age teachers. And if you're exhausted, if you're tired, and you're doing service oriented type of procedures, people won't want to come hang out with you if you don't want them there, because you don't have any energy to even, welcome them and just be with them. And sometimes it's just your presence, right? Just allowing the space. It's harder to hold space for people if you don't have any energy yourself. So that's another thought, right? Money is the root of all evil, and that puts a big corkscrew in a lot of our the things we do as business owners. And unfortunately, the spiritual boundary violations we've had, like if our spirit got crushed because nobody believed in us, right? Or they label us as, oh, you're not good enough, or you can't succeed because you're a woman, or you can't succeed because you're the youngest in your family, you don't know any better, right? So any comments that crush your spirit doesn't really help you very much, especially if that those words are attached to some specific memory. It almost gives you trauma, one after another. So can you say, well, I'll just ignore them because they really don't know what they're saying? That comes in time when you really have built your own confidence, meaning you have proven yourself successful through your course of actions. Because if you're not afraid, right, to try things and just do things and see the result, like what was the lesson you learned from executing that specific action. So one thing I noticed, like with healers, they're very afraid to charge. People have equated money for abuse of power. Just because if you look at other rich people, if they're doing that, then you don't want to be one of them, right? So when you own your space and you wanted to redefine how spiritual healers and business owners, spiritual business owners can show up in the world, that changes the whole game, because now you're saying, I'm working on myself, right? And I'm making sure that I'm also kind, not just to your clients, but also to yourself. Because would you rather work with a healer that's broke, or would you rather heal, or would you rather work with someone who actually can handle money, attract money, spend money, manage money well, right? So we all are doing it together because we're all learning it. We all had some form of programs that did not serve us very well, but our job is to look for them. So, have you heard of the statement, oh, it's okay, we're not rich, but we have love in this family? Okay, so that's also another statement that has an undertone to it. So your parents may be saying to you that you have to choose actually between love and money. So that is living in an either or world. either or, money or love. And I can tell you, people will always choose love over money. So, how do you change that? In order to shift from an either or to an and also mentality, just think of this. If somebody says, would you rather have shoes or handbag? And usually, because they ask the question, right? Whoever asked the question controls the conversation. Normally, you're thinking, oh, I can only choose one. So, what if you say, can I have both? Shoes and bag, because they go together. So, what I would like for you to do this week as part of your homework is, because the malls are now open, some of the stores are now open, at least where we're at here in California. I want you to go shopping and actually just, you don't have to buy. I want you to look around and just look for your favorite items in the store and say, I can have that. I can have that. I can have that. Like you keep on picking and say, I'll take you home with me. I can have you, right? Now, does it mean you have to buy it? If you really want to have it at that moment, yes. But anything could be bought. Like there's layaway. You can take it home whenever you have the full balance of it. You can use it as a reward towards your efforts, right? To get something or to build, let's say, a course, to be able to take a vacation, right? So whatever it is that rocks your boat, okay? Because when you're creating a project, it would be good to really have a reward because your brain loves rewards. Your brain loves to know that it has an end point. So for those of you that have a lot of unfinished projects, you may want to start working on those and really checking it off your list that it's done. So find your money stories, because those little pesky stories, the thoughts you tell yourself, are the ones that actually affect you in many, many ways. Sometimes it's like you think it's nothing, but it could be everything in your business and in your relationship. So your homework is perhaps write things down, the things you heard from people. I hear a lot when you offer something and people say, I can't afford that. Another way of saying that really is you're choosing not to make it a priority. So let's say you attended an event and you're like, I can't afford that. Is it because you're not really working on your business, for example? So, for example, we're going to do an Up Level 2020 event on July 10 coming up. It's virtual. And when you make an offer, people usually go, oh, no, I'm not going to buy anything. You're already psyching yourself up in the beginning that you're not going to buy anything, without really being open to the opportunity of what can you do when you actually take that step towards your business, right? Yes, you will have to invest in yourself and take personal responsibility when you say you're going to do something. So a lot of times when we promise we're going to do something and we don't fulfill that promise, that puts so much guilt in our system. And of course, our personal integrity keeps on wearing down all the time. Every time we say we're going to do something and we don't fulfill our promise to ourselves. It's really to yourself. So if you ask yourself how many times I've promised something, it could be as little as I'm going to clean the garage, or I'm going to clean my purse, or I'm just going to make a phone call and call this person today. It could be that. But if you keep on saying you're going to do something and you don't do it, that's where you break your own promise to yourself. Hence, your personal integrity goes down. And hence, the money doesn't come also. So those are all interrelated, whether you like it or not, because you're putting out too many requests to the universe and you're not even looking consciously at your schedule and seeing if you can even fit that in. So if that's the case, write down, just writing things down and confronting yourself and saying, okay, what are my unfinished projects? Am I really going to do this? Yes or no? Because if you're not, then just say, no, I'm not going to do it. And be honest with yourself and be done with it. So it's off your head and on the paper, right? So do that and write exactly some of your money conversations and stories that you hear over and over again, and see what happens. Because you can cross it off, right? And write down the new thought that you would like to insert in your head so that you can now actually shift that from something negative to something positive that could also support you in your soul journey, in your soul purpose, in your ability to make money. So remember, money is energy and you use it, right? To pay your bills, to have a house or an apartment, to have a car, to buy gas, to even contribute to church or any charity that you would like to contribute to. So you can't say it's not important because you're using it. So what if you ask yourself, if money is part of my dream team, how would I treat it? All right, with that, again, I invite you to uplevel2020.com. Check it out. It's just going to be virtual. And if you get the VIP package, you can actually bring 2 people in the event and you get a private session with me before or after the event. You just have to let me know to schedule that appointment. And if you'd like to connect with me, you can book an appointment on calendly.com/Vivian de Guzman /30 minutes. Okay. All right. I will see you soon. And I hope to be able to help you. And I hope this tips have helped you clarify your money stories.